Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Below the Line, the show about how movies are made. My name is Andres Ramirez, live from the Tribeca Film Festival in New York City, and I'm here with my co-host, who is still in Vancouver, Mr. Zach Houston Scott. How are you, man?
Hey, doing pretty good. I am from Vancouver right now. Nothing has changed. I think you've had the more eventful week than me thus far.
Yeah, before that, I want to give a couple of shout outs to a bunch of films I saw in the Tribeca Film Festival, most of them independent, made by filmmakers like us. I want to shout out The Scout, directed by Paula Andrea Gonzalez Nasser. I also want to give a shout out to, give me 1 second so I can find the name of the directors, The Travel Companion, uh, directed by Travis Wood, Alex Malice, and On a String, directed by Isabel Hagen. Really wonderful independent films. I just wanted to give a shout out since our podcast is about giving voice to independent voices. So, yeah, it's been a hectic week here at Tribeca, but how are you, man?
Not bad, not bad. Just another day at work. The weather's getting really nice in Vancouver. Catching up with my movies as well too, seeing what's coming in theaters as well as just some classics, and yeah, just kind of supporting where I can.
Fair
So
enough. Big news for the gaming community. We have the Nintendo Switch 2.
yes,
Have you been playing that?
I managed to secure one with my brother. Yes. Funny story, actually. I wanted to keep this a surprise for this week, but I actually got an advanced screening to Disney and Pixar's Elio. That was on Wednesday, the same day that the Switch 2 was going to be launched. I'll give my thoughts on that in a few minutes, but I'll just say that as we were leaving, we didn't pre order the Switch 2, but we ended up seeing the line that was in Metrotown Mall in Burnaby. And, we
Mm-hmm.
stood in line, and this GameStop employee came around, asked if we wanted to get one because we figured why not? We'd get at least the free merch. He gave my brother a pamphlet that was just $6.99, and sure enough, he was able to get one. So, yeah, the Switch 2 is ours with the Mario Kart bundle.
Congratulations. It seems like everybody struggling to get one or has one. Depends. Very expensive console. I actually haven't played yet, but I hear it's a good console. I don't know.
Yeah, I from what he told me, it was basically just a superior Switch. Like it was bigger, it was faster, it had better quality of life improvements to it with the Joy Cons and the way that the games are loaded in, and just everything about it was pretty great. So, no, I'm excited when I get a chance to play it too. So,
Cool. So, have you seen any cool movies recently, or besides what's coming into theaters? I guess the next big release, quote unquote, is How to Train Your Dragon. But besides Elio, have you seen anything cool? Did you had a chance to watch Karate Kid?
I have not yet, no, so I still don't want to be spoiled as much as I really do want to see it. I probably might either check it out this weekend or Cheap Tuesdays, but I have seen a throwback classic from Robert Rodriguez, 2005 Sin City. Remember that adaptation?
Oh, classic. Yeah, classic for sure. I mean, is it more of a classic than his Spy Kids movies? I don't know.
I mean, nostalgia wise, I think Spy Kids is a little more memorable, but Sin City's just a cooler looking movie. And I mean, it is technically a comic adaptation of Frank Miller's work, and Quentin Tarantino had a bit of hand in it as well.
Influence.
Yeah, influence. He directed a scene too, so that was pretty neat. So I don't know.
Fair enough. Did you saw that in theaters or streaming?
Oh, just streaming, just streaming. I just wanted to watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, also crazy week for the industry with a lot of layoffs. I think here at Tribeca, I noticed that the industry is trying to figure out how to adapt to the modern worlds between streamers, what audiences want, where to shoot. Like a lot of interesting developments in the industry. Um, but besides, before we talk about the industry, how about we talk about movies?
Yes,
Um,
get the
I think
people
you
back.
wanted to discuss John Wick because Ballerina came out. Have you
Yes,
seen Ballerina?
I am going tomorrow to watch it, but just from reading reviews, people say it's fine. Definitely not the best of the series, which to me is a little heartbreaking because it's a action franchise that I hold really dearly to me, and I think is more to do with the fact the character is so cool and the way the world just is built around him necessarily. Like the more we discover his backstory and just how it operates, the more that it's interesting. And I don't know, this is either Lionsgate's failed attempt to try and create something that is more marketable. I mean, they're also making a new Hunger Games next year with the new book, but I just feel since they're running out of franchises to adapt, and I mean, they're just making really bad choices, and all due respect with their statements, especially with what their CCO said in regards to the usage of AI.
What did he say? I actually don't know.
He said that he could make an anime film in the span of 3 hours using AI prompts.
Like from writing to actually have it be made? Or what does he mean? What was the context of the comment, I suppose?
I mean, the context was that he basically said, "Oh yeah, well in the future we can optimize our work and create anime like films with those prompts in the span of a few hours rather than just, having years and years of work be spent on it."
I mean, I don't necessarily think AI is there yet. I mean, you can create a story in like a minute with AI, but I don't know if AI has a capacity to animate, edit, and create voices in like 3 hours. I don't know.
No, no, it doesn't. But I mean, overall, I think just I'm excited to see this one, but I do have my expectations reserved, especially considering how consistently good the John Wick movies are. So
Were you a fan of the saga overall, like from the first one to the fifth or fourth? How many movies are there?
there's four, and a TV show with Ballerina being the fifth one. Yes, I'm a big fan of it. The TV show was okay. I won't go out of my way to say it's like the best. I mean, it's got Mel Gibson as well involved with it, and I mean, he was a big controversy to it as well. But I think overall, it's fine if you want to hear Winston's backstory, the John Wick's mentor. Then definitely worth checking out.
Okay. I mean, I to me all of them blur. Like I just remember the first one because that one was so iconic. So I don't really remember most of them. Like I remember the last one where he fights all the guys in the stairs in Paris, but most of them blur together, if you know what I mean.
No, I get you. I get you. I just think it's one epic long story personally, and they keep upping the action with each movie, and I don't know, they keep revealing more about how this world operates and just the logics and the rules that come with what he was doing. And I hear they're going to do a prequel where he's going to be like his origin of how he did the impossible task to get out. So I'm really excited to see that. And yeah, they're even confirming the fifth movie, even though the director apparently doesn't know what the hell he has in store and hasn't presented it to Keanu Reeves yet. So we will see.
But he's coming back, right? Like Keanu
Yes.
Reeves,
Oh, he has to.
I
It's
guess.
not John Wick Chapter 5. He's not in it. It's John Wick Chapter 5. He has to be in it.
But I mean, is it a spoiler to say for a movie that came out like what 2 years ago? Didn't
Yeah.
he die at the end of the fourth film?
Well, to people, yes, if you want to interpret it that way. But I mean, we didn't really see him like die. We
Okay,
just saw him rest or take it easy. Like maybe he went into hiding after he was shot multiple times. He survived worse. And I mean, these movies do play with expectation a little bit. Really, it's kind of the
so
Matrix series I always wanted, just something that was
hmm,
consistent and understanding of its rules rather than piss off its fan base with its sequels.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they're probably his two most famous roles, John Wick and Neo from The Matrix. I
And
wonder if
then
they will ever try to cross them,
with
like
Shadow the
John
Hedgehog
Wick.
for good measure. With Shadow the Hedgehog for good measure.
Sure, but like, Neo is John Wick's alter ego in The Matrix.
That'd be pretty funny, actually. And if they tie in that series somehow, that he was in another Matrix.
Paramount is not owned by Lionsgate, right?
You mean Warner Brothers?
No, who produces Lionsgate produces John Wick, right?
Yeah, and they're
And
their own
Paramount
studio. Technically, they're owned by Cineplex here in Canada, but I mean, we're
Mm.
also the distributor of these movies up here. So, yeah, otherwise, Lionsgate is a mini major studio.
No, I just think it would be fun if they somehow managed to connect him to Shadow as well. Like that's when he puts like VR headsets, he becomes Shadow, and John Wick is his alter ego in the Matrix or something crazy like that. It's all part of the same universe. It's a Keanu Reeves verse, I guess.
That
Hey, wouldn't that be funny?
would be funny, actually. That'd be really funny.
Yeah, and Jim Carrey is like his lovely cousin or something.
His hillbilly cousin.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That would be funny.
But
Um,
no, I love the movies. I love what they did for action too. Like I think when the first John Wick came out, it was definitely an influence on those action movies
on
of the era,
stunts.
especially stunts. Yes, it gave stunt people recognition, and that I'm grateful for. As well, I mean, you have those inspired movies from it, like Atomic Blonde and The Fall Guy, and even Deadpool 2 to a lesser degree, where the
And the
action's
one
like
that just came out with Huey from The Boys this year.
Novocaine, yes.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
pretty
yeah.
much all action movies are based in some way influenced by John Wick. Even Love
Yeah.
Hurts, that one Ki Hu Kwan movie that came out earlier this year.
Oh, the one that nobody saw.
Yeah,
But have you seen that one?
yeah, unfortunately, and it was terrible.
Okay, so would you recommend it?
No, I wouldn't. I think honestly, Ariana DeBlanc needs to fire her agent because, yeah, this woman is not starring in great movies anymore.
Okay. I was gonna ask you, fun question. So, the best stunt performer is coming up. Keanu Reeves versus Tom Cruise. Who should get it first?
I mean, Tom Cruise, I mean, that guy literally had a parachute light on fire, him going down for a period of time. So,
So you would give it to Tom Cruise. Like if you were a member of the Academy, you would vote for Tom Cruise.
absolutely, I would, yes.
Okay, fair enough. I think I agree with you. I just think they're probably the two most iconic actors at the moment working on stunts. So I think it should be Tom and then Keanu getting that Oscar.
Yeah,
And
that
then
or they should do for
who
direction
knows?
like Chad Stotowski, I think his name is. The guy who
Yeah.
directed like all the John Wick movies.
Well, I think it should be like a team of performers. Like I think the actors should get that if they committed to the stunts, but maybe the stunt coordinator slash director. I don't know. It's like a broad scope of it. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see Ballerina. Probably I'll see it by the time we get to see How to Train Your Dragon because I'm still going to be seeing independent films here at the festival for another week. So
Good.
expect more independent films from me in this week, and also make sure to follow us because I'll be sharing what I'm seeing around the festival in our social media. I also forgot to say, but I watched this Billy Joel documentary. So good. Produced by
Oh,
Tom Hanks, Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets here in New York. Really good, but I only saw part one. It's a two-part, and part one was like 2 hours, and it barely scratched the surface. And it comes out in Max next month, so stay tuned for that one.
good. Yeah, I'd love to see it, especially with his recent diagnosis of hydrocephalus, which, I mean, my fiance also has too. So, I mean, they kind of share that link now. But yeah, no, really sad for such a talented guy like that. He did my underrated Disney movie, Oliver and Company. So,
Oh yeah. Well, they say he'll be back. He was not at the screening, but he sent a message through the producer saying that he'll be back. So
oh, good. That makes me
be
happy.
optimistic about it. Yeah. So other industry news. Should we go to that? But before we
Yeah.
touch that, it seems like Lilo and Stitch is crossing the $1 billion range. Do you think he'll do it
Oh,
before How to Train Your Dragon?
yes, absolutely it will. I don't see How to Train Your Dragon grossing $1 billion before Lilo and Stitch does. It's already made like 650 million. Lilo and Stitch, probably
No,
more by the time this episode drops.
I'm saying How to Train Your Dragon would be direct competition and probably take away a lot of screens.
I mean,
So I'm
maybe, but I don't know.
seems profitable so far.
Oh yeah, and from what people have said about How to Train Your Dragon, it's literally just a live action version of the animated film with little to no changes.
That's what most people have been saying, but that film is so good that I'm not even mad. you know,
I mean,
like, yeah, we
I don't
don't
know.
need it, but
It's nice to have. That's kind of what I get the vibe. It's like, yeah, it may not be needed, but it's a nice to have movie.
yeah, I'll probably sell a lot of toys.
Yeah. Before we do talk about it, one more thing I wanted to say was the new Wicked for Good trailer. We finally got a glimpse of what's coming this November.
I have not seen it. How is it?
Well, do you like Wizard of Oz?
Oh, they teased Wizard of Oz characters in it?
Yeah, very much they did. They are very much up and focused in this trailer. So if you know, you
Oh,
know.
I'll watch it soon.
Yeah, that line
Cannot
makes me
promise.
sad though. That is all I'm gonna say. The line makes me really sad.
Okay, we'll talk about it next week for sure.
Perfect.
For sure. So, do you want to introduce the topic, the summer checkup of today's episode?
Yes. So if you haven't heard, Disney has announced very mass layoffs across their multiple studios and entertainment vendors as a way of cost cutting measures of just everything. The latest of the Hollywood layoffs that have been happening since the last couple of years, honestly. It's been more and more layoffs, and it's been very depressing to follow and hear these stories.
So, can you educate our audience and me particularly? I've heard of it, but I'm not very well educated. What happened? Is it in relationship to streaming and the fact that Disney Plus has not been profitable? Is it a budget thing? I just find it interesting because over the past couple of days, I've heard directors talk about budgets. Like, what was the reason of it?
Well, there's a lot of factors, but honestly, the end of it all, much like how the .com bubble burst, the streaming bubble burst.
Of
There's been
course,
mad rush, like even before COVID, just to get like everyone's streamer up and running to be the next Netflix. Because Netflix was attaining a lot of popularity. They still are. They did their Tudum screening last week, and that was a success. You know, they were teasing all their new features and their new TV shows, like stuff that's actually going to, bring in more subscribers. And you have like Warner Brothers and Disney and Paramount and Universal, like all their parent
Peacock.
companies. Yeah, Peacock try to chase to get that slice of the streaming pie. And when COVID hit and everyone had nothing to do, that was the perfect time for people to really subscribe because they had nothing better to do. And they had to keep producing that stuff in order to keep people invested and interested. So they hired more thinking they were going to ride this tide forever. But as the world opened up, and also because, streaming services do cost money, they take a lot. It's not just, can't be produced independently. They need that backing, and they are produced specifically for that network. They realized they overstretched and the budgets were just becoming ridiculous. Like Apple TV is insane for the amounts that it spends on its features and TV shows. Like we're talking nine figures.
Billions.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
billions of
almost.
dollars. Movies like Argyle, movies like F1 that needed Warner Brothers distribution in order to get that thing released. Like, you think anyone would take a chance of it? No, of course not. Not in this age.
That's an interesting conversation because at the festival here, they've been discussing what is a success, right? Today, in a panel, they were discussing, you know, the future of rom-coms because The Materialist with Pedro Pascal is coming out this weekend, directed by Celine Song, who directed Past Lives, and they were discussing what is a success? Is it box office? Is it metrics? Is it data? Is it awards? So I think it's interesting to, I guess, showcase who is behind it because I think for Apple, Apple is all about prestige, right? Like they're a phone company and their business is not film versus Disney, right? Disney is more entertainment or Warner. Like Disney still relies in theme parks, of course, but Warner doesn't have that luxury, for example. So I think it's interesting. How do you redefine the success and how much money should it be invested into that particular picture, if you know what I mean?
No, and I get that. But honestly, metrics can only go so far. They only judge what people drive to go and see. And that only works on a subscription based count. It's like we would be producing for our show, for example. What works for the algorithm? What works for our subscriber count to Spotify, YouTube, our view count, basically. What to me, I define success as awareness. Like, are people aware this is a thing? Is it finding an audience? Is it gaining people's attention? And is it making like the zeitgeist moment? Is it like a film that's like, or a TV show that's like grabbing and it's very much people are watching and stuff like that? You could argue like Last of Us season two didn't even have like the same, yeah, viewership, but people were still talking about it. They hated to talk about it, but that's still in the moment. That's still something people were like, no, this is garbage. But hey, you know what? It got people talking for a little bit. And that's a
I
lot better
mean,
than I can say for some other projects too.
I think that metric is kind of not false, but it's misleading because I think
Mhm.
what people did talk about The Last of Us Part 2 or Season 2, I think people will talk less of Season 3 just because of the nature of what's going to happen. It's kind of similar how The Mandalorian started really high, and as the seasons became less of quality, that hype also died. But I
Yeah.
also going to mention, I think that also worked really well for Netflix, and I think Netflix is in a very interesting moment of transition because most of their shows are ending, and like Stranger Things was like all the actors, for the exception of Winona Ryder, were pretty unknown when that show first started, and it was more the concept rather than you know the actual hype of it, if you know what I mean. Like if you remember when that first season premiered, and I think Netflix is even running out of ideas because the fact that they're releasing their show in three parts, like the last season, is interesting. They're
I
not
mean,
letting people binge it.
they did the same for Cobra Kai, but I mean that was a different reason because they didn't finish writing or shooting. But just add on to that, I'm sorry to change subjects. I'm really happy that Stranger Things is coming to an end. Honestly, I think it overstayed its welcome far too long than it should have, and I really just do not want to hear any more about that show once it finishes this year. Because I talk about running out of ideas early.
Well, if you read their pitch deck, it was supposed to be an 8 episode series.
Exactly, it was a
Like
limited.
in the pitch deck, it says 8 episode series. Like literally, what was season one? I generally think the success of that show made it what it is today. But I also think Netflix is not letting go of that IP that easily. I think there's going to be spin-offs
Oh yeah,
for
no,
sure.
they'll continue it in some ways. I just don't like it because it's just like you said, it was a pitch for eight, like in the series Bible for 8 episodes. and they extended far past it. And you can tell they're straining the amount of time that it's taking for these episodes to come out. Like, that's another reason too to tie back into it is these budgets and time are just taking a lot. And I think people are realizing, okay, we need to start getting this out fast because a lot of people are turning to YouTube and TikTok and to a lesser extent
Yeah,
Instagram and Facebook for like quick reels that they can see for short-term entertainment. They'll forget about it, but hey, that content's monetized for people since it's ad revenue. And really that's where they're struggling. Like even AMC earlier this week mentioned they were going to start putting more ads into their theaters.
more trailers. Yeah,
Yeah, more trailers,
more.
more ads, and that's already insane. Like you want people to wait like 20, 25 minutes just with ads? Like no, like that's insane.
To be fair, they did change their subscription model. You used to be able to watch 3 movies, now you can watch 4. So maybe you're gonna be watching more ads, but you get to watch one movie per week, one more movie per week. I don't know. Um, I think it's interesting how they're trying. I mean, in many ways, AMC is trying to survive. It was interesting today. I was at a panel where it was all distributors, but the one from Universal Focus Pictures said they're trying to create events movies. Basically, where, for example, here in New York, they set up a whole theater with Wes Anderson like production design. Like it looked like a disco, like a jazz club inside the movie theater. Apparently, that's something in his new film. I have not seen it, but I went inside the theater and I checked the production design out. And I wanted to ask him, but I think it's interesting. Sometimes filmmakers obsess, oh, it has to be on IMAX, especially big filmmakers like Chris Nolan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask him if the studios feel a sense of responsibility to standardize how people enjoy movies. Because, everybody can have, not everybody, but some people have access to a projector, a big sound surround system, but most people don't have access to an IMAX screen at home, right? And I think it's something that George Lucas tried to do, but that's seemingly dead, which was
With THX.
standardize, yeah,
Yeah.
standardize how people watch movies, which
Well,
I think is
maybe
important.
maybe we should talk about that in another episode. How would you like to watch movies or what's your preferred viewing experience? Cuz I think we could discuss a lot about that in a future episode. So,
Sounds like a plan. Maybe we
so
can find a solution to this. So, do you want to give us your Elio review before we clocked in? And again, sorry, folks, for this shorter episode. I'm just in a festival mode, and Zach is also in work mode, but we still wanted to bring you
Tribeca
something this
calls.
week.
Yes. Quick thoughts on Elio. Definitely a Pixar movie that hits the beats, especially the beginning. For those who like Up and Finding Nemo, you'll see why. Honestly, I
Oh,
really like the friendship between the two characters. I thought they were pretty well developed. That was my favorite thing about it. It's a little mixed in space, like just before he meets the friend, but overall, like this is a pretty solid movie with a great opening. So that's just my kind of quick spoiler-free thoughts on Elio. So
let me ask you a question. Would you say it's the best original Pixar film since the last original Pixar film, which I don't remember which one was it?
are you talking about Turning Red?
I guess that's the last original Pixar film.
I mean, to me, like an original Pixar movie, it is hard for me to say because I mean,
Well,
I'm
it's
not
not
the
turning
target.
red.
It's not
It was
Turning Red.
Elementals.
Oh, Elemental. I kind of liked Elemental a little more, honestly. I
Okay.
watched that earlier, and I thought it was pretty good.
Would you recommend people seeing it in theaters, or is it a
Ye-
Disney Plus film?
No, I definitely recommend it because Pixar needs an original win, considering this movie costs $300 million.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
yeah, definitely, I'd say go and support it if you can because this movie's definitely going to need it.
So it needs to make like 600 million to break even.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my God. Ah, Pixar. You gotta go back to like Woody and the simple films that you used to make back then.
Yeah, they just keep too much of their money is spent on just I don't know what, honestly. I really don't know.
Hopefully, they learn the Lilo and Stitch lesson and they go back to like those cheap budgets.
Yeah, I mean, if Freaky Friday is anything, it might as well be. But I will
Okay.
let you sign us off tonight, actually, to give you a chance.
Okay, so today we're doing Freaky Friday. So, well, I'm not used to doing this, Zach. You're putting me on the spot, but I'll do my best. So, Uh, thank you guys for listening to us. I'm again sorry this is a shorter episode. We still wanted to bring you something. We have been both having busy weeks. Uh, Follow us for more updates regarding the festival and the podcast at Below the Line underscore 2025. I am Andres. You can follow me at Jaro2096 and you can follow Zach at the real Zach Houston Scott. Did I get it right?
Well, it's the Zach Houston, but no, you were pretty spot on for the rest of it. So great
Okay.
job.
I almost got it. So thank you so much, guys. With that, do live from Tribeca, we're signing us off. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
Zach.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
guys. See you
Enjoy
next week.
Tribeca. See you next week. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
man.